You're killing me because
Come on,
the point
talk
was
about
not,
it later. Talk about it later.
The point was not that it was
Save
the
it for the
funniest
show.
thing.
Save
The
it for the
show's
show.
going.
All right,
Are we ready to start?
Let's hey.
No.
Let's hey.
What do you say?
Okay, ready? You ready?
I'll be ready when I'm understood by my friends.
You're understood. You're understood.
No.
You're just being got. Here we go.
Oh.
1, 2, 3. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Youth Ministry Garage, episode 181. Doug Fields here with Matt McGill, misunderstood man of wisdom, the Queen, Katie Edwards, and sitting in for our ex-host is the beautiful, lovely Kathy Fields.
You're supposed to go like
Oh.
this. That's what
Oh,
Griff
he
does.
gives a little slant.
He does.
Just 2 fingers.
Yep.
It's the
Here-
lamest thing
Like
I've
the
ever seen in my
like the
life.
Boy Scout?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
Boy
Well,
Scouts
he
is
is a little bit of a Boy Scout.
Not Boy Scout.
But we waited around for a half
He
hour.
was more of a Moana.
And he's not here, and so we said, let's go get Kathy. She's better anyway, and be more beautiful. And Kathy and I, tomorrow, we will have been
Tomorrow.
married 27 years.
Tomorrow.
27
Wow.
Who'd ever have thought?
years. I know.
Everybody.
Pretty,
I think
pretty sensible. With a lot of risk in it.
Wow,
Jack was
27
like, this guy's a
years.
gamble.
Jack. Yeah,
Yep.
Jack's my dad. Jack's my dad.
Thank you. I love it that Kathy's never on the show and has more sense of context and caring for people than you do.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a shocker.
Congratulations.
Why do you love?
Thanks.
You've been
Thanks.
loving that for many years.
27
Right?
years. Are you guys gonna do something cool?
Have
go
besides
somewhere?
sex?
E.T. owns the weekend.
Great.
Kathy's
Yeah.
speaking in high school ministry our anniversary
Oh.
weekend.
Yep.
So we're hanging out at home.
We were going to go away Friday,
Wait a
Saturday, and
minute,
Sunday.
tomorrow's your anniversary. Oh, so that makes it anniversary weekend.
But yeah, we were going to go away for the weekend, but Cassie is speaking, so we said we can't miss.
Can't miss it. It's
Miss
gonna
her
be
Well,
speaking.
wonderful.
and a great story with that of just
Which part?
living out. Oh wow, I'm not ready for this.
Okay,
From
well-
Katie, no, you're gonna like this. I already told you this,
All
so
right,
you check out.
Tell me I'm
Why
wrong.
don't you prep some of these questions because obviously we haven't had that happening.
All right, let's
Hurry,
go.
Josh is here. I
Josh
gotta
is
hear
here.
this.
No. Is that so? Tomorrow night, Cassie's teaching. There's 4 services that you guys are doing, and we have a family that at CDM, which is the high school that Tori and I focus on, that wants to put together a barbecue so that we can meet incoming freshmen. It's a very cool thing. So parents are coming together. They want to do a meet and greet and stuff. And so this was the date that they threw out was tomorrow, whatever that date is, and I said to Tori, I said, hey, can we do this? Does this date work for you? And then, she fired back and said, well, I'd rather not because, Cassie's speaking and I said that I was going to be there. And, and so I fired back, just quickly problem solving, going through and I go, hey, that's great. I go, do you want to have Sunday off? You can go see your Sunday and just Saturday night we do this thing. And then she came back and said, well, I'll do whatever you think is best. Because you're the one leading this ministry. But I told her I'd be there for the first one, and I really want to be there for the first one. So once I had understood the degree of it, finally, of course, it takes me several minutes to catch clue.
Sure.
Right. But once
Yeah.
I caught the clue, I fired back and said, hey, we can't do it, and we're going to reschedule. But how great was that?
Very great.
Very
family
great.
and all that stuff.
That's great.
How great is it that Griff actually showed up?
Speaking of family, Josh, thank you, Kathy, for sitting in.
I got plenty to...
You obviously do have plenty to do. You don't even
Hey,
show.
why don't you do this? Why
It's
don't
not good.
you model
No.
for our youth ministry community how to apologize for being a half hour
There
late
you go.
for 3 of your
That's
best
right.
friends?
Oh, God.
Look into the camera.
Sorry.
Griff,
Look at the
my
red
day,
you.
I guarantee you, my day
My
was
baby.
worse than yours,
Bye.
and I made it here on time.
Here's the thing.
I
My day is not
guarantee
bad. My day is not bad. It's just... Mr.
Why
T.
should Mr. T?
It's for the very first time
really close to
that I
Mr. T.
legit... You're like gunning him. Legitimately never even crossed my mind. So many plate spinning, balls dropping all over
totally
the place.
forgot?
Not if you had, I would have never.
It didn't even cross your mind.
So when I sent you a text with question mark, like,
I was in a awesome meeting that we were killing it, planning our whole summer.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, it went way over, but it was so good that you're like, I don't want to stop. I don't care. Not even
Yeah.
thinking I had anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, we were far from your heart.
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to
They
you.
honor
That's-
us.
there's
They honor us
episodes-
with your lips.
Hold
but
on.
your
What I'm trying to
heart
say
is
is,
far
what I'm
from
trying to
us.
say is, I'm deeply and truly sorry and absolutely humbled. Making you guys wait a few minutes,
No
part of
big
who
deal.
I am.
Yeah,
Sorry
that's
about that.
fashionably late.
This,
It just comes
uncalled
with
for,
driving a Seedbinger.
it's unpatriotic, it's unchristian-like, and I apologize.
Well, and
profusely.
here's my
It's actually,
saddest
I think-
part. Aside from you wasting a half
It's a
hour of
crime
our time,
against humanity.
you
bad.
you missed some great pre-show humor. Yeah, Katie and I got
Is
McGill.
the show over? I'm literally. It's 40 minutes.
No, you're late. You're significantly late. That's right.
I'm sick.
You didn't
I'm
mention
sick.
that.
Now you're.
Yeah, we didn't. We didn't mention that episode 181, our primary sponsor, U Specialty's got a lot of stuff going on. I just texted Mark Matlock and he said, let people know about YS Palooza that you and I are going to be at
be
in
there.
Orlando.
Orlando.
I'm going to be in Dallas.
I'll be really late for it, but I will be.
It's all right. You won't get paid there either. And I would say that Dallas, which is a week from tomorrow, but we can't really count on Matt putting the show up before a week. But so
Dude, I'm so speedy.
YS Palooza in Orlando. Also, Planet Wisdom is coming to Southern California. So those of us that
I've actually never been. I would like to go.
I took
just to
my
see it.
small group.
Yeah.
I have a great
Last
small
year?
group story that I got to tell
I
you
saw your
afterwards.
Twitter last night about your boys. That's awesome.
Well, I got one that I can't tell on the air.
Oh,
I'll tell.
love it.
I'll tell on the air. So we're
Wow.
we're voting on something, which I'll
Wow.
tell you about later.
Yeah.
We're voting on something. I said, okay, nobody can be pressured. So here it is: thumbs up, thumbs down. Everybody cover their eyes.
Just
If any-
like the gladiators.
the whole bit. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm the only one looking. 8 thumbs go up, 1 thumb goes down. One guy flips me off.
That is
awesome.
pastor's kid.
Nope. No, I have no pastor's kids.
Oh, that is
Anyway.
You learned that lesson.
But anyway, I took my small group to Planet Wisdom, and it was great. They were actually even talking about it last night.
Oh, that's so great. I want to go. I've heard a ton about it. I'm excited to check it
All right.
out. Really sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
so.
We
Stop
understand.
apologizing. Apology accepted. It's over.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
accept apology.
Okay.
No, see, if you'd come trying to make some
No, I
excuse.
No, I got. It's. I want to.
I know,
got
seriously.
nothing.
Arjun
Okay.
was
All
asking
right.
for my advice.
We
I
love
mean, you
you.
couldn't even
Thank
say
you.
that.
The end.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. Matt did have the worst day of, at least the worst day in the last year. That's
Did
the-
you already talk about
That's
it?
the line that he's been saying.
Or is it
is,
too far?
I had the worst day of my year, and I made it on time.
Yeah, seriously.
We'll talk about it
It
afterwards.
couldn't have been.
Because I don't think it's one that you talk on the air right now.
Which is amazing that you would say that. I just love that. That's great.
Yeah.
I
Well,
appreciate the discernment
Because
flavor.
this involves a human.
Yeah, I would.
Well, what am I?
I'm really excited to see what it is, and I kind of want you to say it right
Robot.
now. Okay, here we go.
I'm a robot.
Katie is going to say this guy's name. Go.
Torgier Vanas Brandon.
There it is. Torgier Vonnesbrand.
Sweden?
Says,
Perhaps.
as a matter of fact, my zip code is 7517 hell. So for you English-speaking people, I'm literally the youth worker from hell.
Yes.
Oh,
I like
He's
him
writing
or her
from
already.
Norwegian. Norway. He's Norway, but he's
from
Norwegian.
He's from Norwegian.
He's writing from Norwegian.
But he actually wrote a question and then answered the own question while he was writing it. So he said,
Oh.
sorry, but it's too much to delete.
That's
And just-
hilarious. So
yeah.
you're
Too
welcome.
much to delete.
Yeah.
Another happy customer, guys.
All right, here's one I thought. I thought about not sharing this with you guys because
Is it bad about Matt and I?
no, I
He-
lost
that
a
would make him
bet.
share it.
I lost. See,
Oh, wow.
Papal infallibility.
I lost a bet
What happened
to
to that?
to a podcast family member.
Here we go. Let's hear it. I'm
Wow. What's
Okay.
the family member
What
again?
was the
His name is Rick Berry
It's
from
a rewinder.
North Wales, Pennsylvania. We discussed in Philly at the YS
Really? North
Palooza.
Wales?
Yeah.
It's good. The pause is strong.
You had previously promised me on a podcast a cheesesteak dinner on Friday and not Thursday with you and Matlock. At one point I said, we're going to do a tweet up when I go to
Yeah.
Philly and youth workers will get together, which we did.
Yeah.
But we did it on Thursday. He said I said it was going to be on Friday. I wasn't able to make the Thursday tweet up, but didn't think it was an issue because you were supposed
Ready
to
go
eat
Friday.
eat our dinner together on Friday. You told me to email you proof because then he meets me there and I'm like, no, I didn't say Friday. No, I didn't say Friday. And I said, you're gonna have to prove it to me. So he's running to go get his computer. I'm about ready to walk on stage and speak. I said, how do you do this?
You're like, cool,
You-
I'm totally thinking about this right now.
Yeah.
You find it out and let me know, and if I'm
Good job,
wrong,
buddy.
I'll read it on the podcast. So here it is. You said if I win, we'll go out and grab some dinner during the Student Leadership Conference in Philly. So we're doing a Student
right.
Leadership Conference this
Love it.
summer in Philly.
You're not going to have time for dinner.
Yeah, I am. DougFields.com/SLC 2012. Your proof is in episode 177, starting around the 11-minute mark. Specifically, you get into the cheesecake date at the 11:40 mark of
Oh,
the
wow.
show. Looking forward to cheesesteaks with you in July. So I told him, if I'm wrong,
wow.
I will take you out in July.
Dude, enjoy.
Basically,
Do we get
CSI
invited to that?
investigation.
It is. Do we get invited to any of the student leadership stuff? I mean, I feel like I'm always on the outside looking in.
Well,
It's in Philly.
since Matt
Oh, yeah.
Matt went last year, he was invited.
I taught a workshop with 4 people in it. I was good. Yeah. The other one, you put me up against some
It's like
heavy
the
hitters.
hottest day of the year,
I
too.
know.
Well, yeah. When you
There were all these A-list guys and
Yeah,
gals,
well-
and then there's like, hey, learn about Facebook with Josh. And I thought,
You're the Facebook guy.
dude, so
I actually, before you leave, I will show you on my to-do list.
Yeah.
On my to-do list, under Student Leadership Conference, it says, talk to Josh to see if he wants to play a role.
come on, that's what I'm
I
talking
didn't even
about.
make that list.
Nope, you're not on
Dude,
there.
you're already in. What are you talking about?
No, there's not a chance.
All right,
All right.
go to student leadership
I'm just
and
a
enjoy
good
your
friend.
All right,
leadership.
and Joseph Lyman, we are going to move you to the blog. So go to youthministrygarage.com for your question to be
There you
answered.
It- Way to go.
Kristen
Don't say her name.
Chimsland. Here we go.
Here we go. Question.
Doug, I know you like to have help with name pronunciation. Christian is prawn. Oh, pronounce. She couldn't spell pronounce, so it's prawn. The same as with ch, as in the last name pronounced, just like your failed invented word thing, chim. So it's Chimsland,
Oh,
Chimsland.
which is pretty much what I said. Thanks for all the great years of listening. So helpful with stuff. We recently moved from Greenwood, South Carolina, to become missionaries in Carlisle, England, to help set up a youth ministry with the Church of England.
Speaking of
As a
North Wales,
part of that work, we are looking to set up an internship program. I honestly don't know how much about internships. Trying to find books out there on other resources. As far as I'm able to see, there doesn't seem to be much out there on internships. What are some key aspects of a vital and fruitful internship program? What have you guys read, written, or used that might be helpful? What about other listeners? Well, we really can't speak for the other listeners,
there you go.
but
I can speak for the other listeners.
Jana, who used to sit
You
in a
represent.
Yeah, it used to be right here.
in a lesser version of Katie,
Yes.
she wrote a book called Internships from Start to
Yes.
Finish.
Yes.
So that's one thing that's been
Google
written.
that. Get that. That is a good resource.
Yeah, that's on Simply Youth Ministry.
Absolutely. And Jana helped run the intern ministry at Sonic for a long time.
Yeah.
Great lady.
Yes, she
So
did.
what are some key vital aspects? We've all worked with interns, internships programs. I'm not sure this is totally transferable to our entire audience, so let's
Go quick.
Go quick.
Great.
Go
Dramatic
He
silence.
took a big inhale.
Well, I thought when I
We
heard
both did
his
at the same
inhale,
time.
I would say don't treat them like interns. That would be my advice. Don't treat them like interns.
That away.
It's going to be one of the two.
That
right?
away. I feel like that's a little grown-up version of you.
What?
Well, I'm not saying I do it. I think that's just good.
No, I'm just saying. I think a
Don't
few
go.
years back, one of the things, whether I said it to you or not, or I thought subconsciously, Josh kind of
Or you
treats them as
passive
interns.
aggressively?
Yeah, not anymore, man. Now
Why?
we treat them like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I
they're
think-
given a lot.
I think
Well, and who wouldn't want to be
anybody-
an intern in England?
Agreed.
Come on, we ought to put this up on the site.
Or on my team, it's anybody. Just saying. No, it's awesome. Have great. Yeah. Don't treat them like interns. Go.
Yeah, I would say don't treat them like interns, and the other side of that, or maybe it's another way to say the same. Maybe it's probably a more positive way to say the same thing. Is I think what you want to do is you want to raise the bar high for all your leaders, and you want to give everybody the opportunity to take on as much as they can take on. And so there's been years there's been periods during the times at Saddleback where we had, 1 or 2 interns that were actually carrying more of the ministry than some of the newer staff, newbies. Now, I feel like we had no line between staff and intern most of the time. I mean, obviously there was things we didn't pay our interns, and so that was a difficult thing that definitely came up. The interns usually were a lot greener, and needed a lot more hand holding. But I would say so. That's one thing. Just set the bar high and let people rise to whatever responsibilities. And this is true for a volunteer or a student leader. I think that's just a good leadership principle. But I think the other thing is
Is
that
this your short version, by the way?
well, it's my short version. No, but that was just preamble.
Just thinking the same thing. I was like, man, this is just short. We're gonna need a longer show. Good thing I wasn't on time. He was still answering it.
I'm done.
Okay, what do you got? That's co-host of the.
Took our time. Move on to the next question.
All right,
Katie, that is twice.
Christian from England.
You never give me a hard
That's a
time.
gift. That's a total
I
gift.
was
happening
filling in
here?
for him, and now I'm
Oh
transitioning
my
out.
gosh, this is really.
Hey, I'm back. Come on.
All right. Anything
World
else
is
you guys
good.
want to add?
Upside down.
Katrina?
Invest. I would say, look at them as an investment, and spend time with them, understanding their strengths and weaknesses, and help them strengthen the strengths and grow in the areas they need growth. So.
Yeah. One of the things that's changed at Saddleback since I left, which that's people can do whatever they want. I still strongly believe in a 2-year internship program because I feel like year 1, the intern wins, and year 2, the church wins.
Totally.
And so when you guys reduced it to a 1 year, I think you put all your investment in. The learning curve is so high that by the time they learn everything, then they leave, and the church gets used during that. Which, if that's the philosophy, then sometimes I think we treat them as cheap labor when we only have them for a year, because it's really that second year they begin to soar. But see them as a blank slate. The longer you do ministry, you just take stuff for granted. I had a conversation with a guy that all of you would know. It actually has a national name to some degree. And there was just this little thing that I told him I think you need to tweak this as a leader. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh, that was new. And it was helpful, but I thought, well, of course you would know that. But a lot of times you don't know stuff until you've gone through days like you've gone through today.
Yeah, or rebuild something from scratch. But I would say, and I'll do this quickly, don't overthink the training. Don't feel like you have to have a massive curriculum, call it. I mean,
people do fall in love with their
with their training, with their
intern
system.
plan, and
we're
it's
going to
almost
have
like
50 leadership books and talk
every
about
intern
it all.
is so different. They all have to have kind of a more specialized plan.
Yeah.
Exactly, and I like what you're saying. They need you.
Sure.
Too.
Yeah, if they need cookie cutter, let them go to seminary. I mean, but that's not a rip on seminary,
no,
though.
just that's a more classroom setting, and this is a more experiential setting.
I mean, I know that's.
Speaking of seminary.
Speaking of seminary, Josh, did you see the title
That was
of
not
last
supposed to be a
episode?
rip on seminary.
No.
Episode 180.
I don't remember the
Josh,
title. What?
honorary doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Is that yours or is that Seth?
That was mine.
It was great.
I'm
sent
still
it.
trying.
I sent it to the APU people because I'm trying to get you guys in the master's
Chortled
program.
themselves to-
And they were just. I said, this is the
They
type of.
chortled all the way to the Cougar Den.
This is the kind of exposure that we can get. We can get.
Exactly.
Because my thought is, if I can get you guys into the program and you're working on
I'm
your
in.
master's.
I'm ready to go.
Well, and think about the people that are listening that go,
Oh, yeah,
you
they're
know
in.
what? It's a kind of master's where you come out for a week at a time, you bang out the class.
We're going to class together
We're
with
going
you.
to class together. Yep, I'll be there. You guys, if you want to be there.
You'll be teaching it.
Not all of them.
Katie's
but
like, this is my worst nightmare.
Duffy's teaching a class. Mark
let's
Penner's
do it.
teaching class.
That is
Walt
awesome.
Mueller, Jim Burns, Kara Powell. We got
And at the end, you get an honorary doctorate.
I love Walt.
an honorary master's.
I'll take it.
All right.
It won't
Hey,
be honorary.
you're right. It'll be work. It'll be hard work.
Yeah.
But we are going to send for one of our sponsors,
Yes.
DNow Online.
Love it.
Okay, we are going to send into England because we can do this
We
if we
can
give
do
it
that?
online.
The internet is in England.
Yes, I
That
just heard
is-
that.
North Wales.
And so DNow Online is going to do that, and we could also at the same time promote their new book, Andy Blank's new book,
Oh,
the
were we
seven.
supposed to take that last week?
Josh
I did. I took
yeah.
one.
The
Josh is
7
a
best
reader.
practices for teaching teenagers the Bible, and
I'm obviously not doing a good job with my freshman.
I have a post coming up on More Than Dodgeball tomorrow about that book.
Really?
Check
Did
it
you
out.
read it?
all right.
No. Sorry, Andy. But I will by tomorrow. No.
Will not.
No, he
he'll
wrote
skim by tonight.
He wrote a guest post for me about his kind of heart behind it. So,
Oh, that's
so yeah,
cool.
I really like him.
Finally, you'll get
Looks
the
a good
story
book.
now.
So you're gonna send them some digital stuff, and can we send that?
Not to England.
Yeah,
I don't
that's too
want to
far.
spend that much money. Actually, it's not my money; it's their money. But I want to keep them as a sponsor.
That's fair.
This is from Bobby Wiener, Mount Joy, Pennsylvania.
You
Hey,
got
gang.
an email from this guy a couple weeks
I
ago.
know, and he's following up. We like follow-up emails. I was just listening to episode 179 when you're reading my question. I want to apologize for something. When I referred to the original 3 members of the show, remember that, Katie?
I do remember.
That hurt.
It's all coming back to me.
I meant it simply as a matter of fact. It meant no disrespect to Katie.
Oh.
Not how we heard it.
I just was referencing how I
Communication's a
share
two-way street.
similarities with the guys, but because I feel I don't have as much in common with Katie, doesn't mean I don't enjoy what she brings to the podcast. I really enjoy her being there, and I'm sorry I hurt her feelings so much that I paused the show, and I think the guys can I paused the podcast online to type this message immediately.
Oh, wow.
She's my favorite,
Sacrifice.
my favorite female that has been on the show.
Now you're...
And I think the guys can learn from her wisdom and manners.
Oh,
that's for sure.
Where's the manners today?
Thanks for answering my question on the show,
You
even
ruined.
if you did humorously butcher my name a bit.
Mhm.
It's by far not the first time that's happened.
By far.
Bobby Wayner,
Wayner.
Mount Joy, Pennsylvania.
Now he helps us pronounce.
Yeah. Well, Bobby,
Thank you, Bobby.
Way to
Thank
go.
you, Mr. Weiner.
Bobby.
you are forgiven, Wiener boy. All right. This is
A little bit of an oxymoron.
what,
No.
forgiven?
Thank you.
Wiener boy. Right?
Just so-
How would Wiener boy be an oxymoron?
No, not oxymoron.
I'm gonna...
Redundancy?
Wiener girl would be an oxymoron.
Yeah, I think of redundancy.
All right.
I'm thinking of titles for this show right now.
I'm just thinking that we lost all our clients.
Yeah, that's great. Great having you here.
Oh, what's the other word for redundancy?
Just want to, Matt, just help erase that board. It's just...
What is it?
We actually, let me just let you know.
Wow.
Okay. Not only am I working to get you guys masters, we have 2 sponsors
In the wings?
lining up.
Wow.
Lining up.
That's what I like
Wanna
to
be
hear.
part?
That's what I like to hear.
But I said, sorry, we can't. I'm sorry, we just can't have more than
We
leader
can only
tracks.
sell out so much.
YM360.
That's right. APU,
Yeah.
Remedy,
So good.
executive
Remedy.
producer Seth. All right.
Powered by
Lover.
YS. Next
I
question.
think his dog should be our logo.
Do not read my name, please.
Oh,
I'm putting it up front so Doug doesn't accidentally read it.
I wish Waiter had said that same thing. That would have saved us 10 minutes.
We have a student. Okay, now we have to move serious. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Oh, I'm so tired.
Here we go.
we have a student who molested a younger sister.
Gosh, are you serious?
No, I'm kidding.
No.
Now, here we
His
go.
parents were upfront about it and asked if we would allow him into our student ministry. We said, of course, yes. He's going on his first overnight trip with us, and we're staying in hotel rooms. At this point, the hotel is booked, and each room has 4 people in. Do we ask him to sleep on the floor or alone in the bed, or with someone else sleep on the floor? Or is it not that big of a deal with same-sex peers? Do I tell the adult in the room? Right now, only the staff at the church and some of his parents' life group know. I'm curious how you would handle it.
Okay, so what was the age difference in the offense?
Doesn't
Younger
say.
sister.
It says
So it's
younger. It just says younger sister. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously, wow. I mean, it's big time. This is not an easy. I don't know that there's a right answer. I think there's the best that you can do is get some advice, especially in your context with your leaders and the person you report to, and just make the wise decision you can. My first take is this. I don't know that there's necessarily a reason to let the volunteers know. I mean, that's not something that needs to get out. It doesn't help the kid. I think the fact that it is different gender is a really big deal, and that means that things are probably okay. I mean, to single, one kid out, it just makes it awkward. And
Well, we don't know the extent of the abuse. We don't know if it's little older brother experimenting. It doesn't matter, but there is a different.
You're not excusing it.
Yeah,
So nobody should hear
there
that.
there is a. I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd put him in my room.
That's exactly.
I'd put him in my room. I'd give him the bed, and I'd say, "Look, I've been married so long, I can't sleep in a bed without cuddling up to people. Why don't you take the bed alone? I'll sleep on the floor."
It's funny you never said that to me. I just thought it was normal for my youth pastor to end up right here.
I think you have to create an environment where it is not going to happen. That if there's going to be an issue or a problem or whatever, you have to do your good faith best effort to prevent it from happening. And I think what that means is keep him close.
So
in
one of your
room.
kids is having sex with his girlfriend. I mean, so do you do the same thing for that? I mean, obviously sex is different than abuse, but it's still promiscuous.
I agree, and I would say what you do for this one student.
But I'm lost where you're going with that.
Well, I
Because
mean,
you're not
he's saying
going to
sexually
put a
active.
boyfriend and a girlfriend
yeah,
in the
I'm
same
saying
hotel room.
sexually active is a similar thing. You're not going to put a boyfriend and a girlfriend, but you're still going to put a person who's sexually active, and if this person's sexually active, I mean, where do you because it's abuse, that's the difference. I mean,
I would say a little bit yes.
that's all. I'm just asking. I mean,
I do think there's a difference between the two things, and I think, the cool part about this is that the parents and the youth pastor have had great communication.
Yeah,
I mean,
love
that is a really great thing, and I think, since the youth pastor is the one that knows, since he's the one that knows, and I think he's charged with that responsibility of being the leader of that kid. Beyond that, I don't think anybody else needs to know unless, there's some sort of incident, but...
Yeah, well, and create an environment where it's not possible for it to happen in any situation with any student. I think if that means, one person on each bed, someone on the floor, someone on the rollaway bed or whatever, that's a
For the whole
great...
camp.
Absolutely.
Change the whole camp for one kid.
Change the whole camp for the safety of everyone. I don't think that's an unrealistic thing. I think in today's world, I would say same sex is just about the same.
Today's lunch that I was at, me and Kathy went out to lunch with my friend Sandy. We're putting a houseboat trip together this summer. His son is graduating. Wanted to do a graduation gift. We've been wanting Cassie to experience houseboats, where Kathy and I met. And
So fun.
So the Boyds in the Fields are going to put a houseboat trip together, and we talked about, they each can bring 8 of their friends or whatever, but here's how, and I told him, I said, I realize, because he doesn't have the youth ministry background, right? We coached together forever. He's great with kids. He'll be wonderful. But I said, guys will sleep upstairs, girls will sleep inside. You just make it where it is, it's safe, it's clean.
Yeah.
When we do hotel rooms with our students, we a lot of times bring in air mattresses for leaders. So leaders are always on the floor because we have them come for free if we can afford that.
Yeah.
So we do leaders on the floor on an air mattress, and then students in bed, just as a little extra even layer between leaders and students.
So a leader's not sleeping with a student.
Yeah.
I think in today's world you have to do that.
Yeah. I just think let's go to after the event and something happened. You are going to be asked / given the third degree
Where were
over
you?
what did you do, where did you,
We
how
had a
did this
leader in
happen?
the room. There was never a time that the kid was in a room with another kid alone.
Everyone slept in separate areas. My leader was in the loop, or I had the.
Yeah, we gave everybody a collar and an ID number. We took blood samples.
I agree.
I'm just.
Yes, there's an extreme
guys-
there, but I think there are little. A leader sleeping on an air mattress is not that big of a deal. There's a couple little tweaks that I think you can make that you don't single anybody out, but.
Well, and if nothing happens, but there's an allegation or any question, I don't know. I'd rather be safe.
I'm with you,
Better
Josh.
be safe than sorry.
Yes.
An ounce of
It's
prevention
only
better than a
escalating.
pound of cure.
As each year passes,
Yes.
all of these things are. It wasn't the same when we were in high school.
Your youth ministry career can be over. Your church's reputation, the cause of Christ in your area can. It's too big of a deal to play with.
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that you could talk about if you went to Refuel in the Rockies with Leader Treks. April 18th through the 20th, Breckenridge, Colorado. Leader
That
Treks.
sounds like a good deal.
I
now.
know.
Yeah, I googled it last week after the show. In all
I went on the
seriousness, because
website
I was
too. I was like, this looks
I
awesome.
kind of want to go.
25 to 30 youth workers.
I kind of want to go too.
The focus is refueling and personal leadership development. Price is only $169. Includes housing and beautiful condo and all meals but one dinner.
It's like the
Do we have to
cheapest
go
conference
outside?
ever.
Leader Treks
I'm interested.
website.
Can
Our
you
buddy
stay
Doug
inside?
Franklin.
Can you stay inside? The
If
whole
he's
time?
there, that's
I know.
that's a deal.
I know.
He's
He is
I know.
legit.
I know.
can do
It's
it
great.
You're
everywhere.
refueling,
Hey.
so whatever. it
Here we
looks
go.
like.
Next one.
Do you want to go, Griff? Do you want to go?
I can't go this, but they offer it twice a year.
You can't go because you're in Palooza, West Palooza,
See?
Orlando.
Oh,
During those
we've got conflicts of
I'm in
interest
Orlando
happening here.
during those
What's
days.
happening?
You know what?
You are not.
You're
We're
what?
going to Disney World
He's in Orlando. We're in Orlando.
the 15th through like the 22nd. or
And
something.
Katie, I've talked to Mark Matlock about next year you speaking at West Palooza.
Oh,
You should do it.
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, he said no, but no, I'm just kidding.
Him and Bobby are friends. That's cool.
That is strong. Here we go.
All right, please don't read my name, all caps. Very clear.
Oh.
Thank you. The community is learning.
We'll just call you
You're
Wayne.
doing a good job.
Thank you. I know you guys. Look at I
Prep the
even
show.
crossed out names.
Impressive.
I'd like to know who it is.
Here we go.
It's been redacted.
I know you get a ton of questions about leaving well and how to know when it's time to leave the church in order to serve somewhere else. And after Matt's day today, this is perfect.
Matt, why don't you just take this one?
I've been feeling like you need to tell him to do that anyway.
The tears told me everything.
I've
I
been
need.
feeling lately like maybe God is moving me out of youth ministry and into an associate pastor position at the church I grew up in. honestly, it makes me feel like I'm forsaking my first love, youth ministry.
You are.
But I've never thought that I'd be a lifer. Things are pretty good at my church right now in a ton of ways. I really don't want to leave. What are some questions you'd be asking yourself if you were trying to discern a call out of youth ministry and into another area of ministry altogether?
This is a good one, and we have talked about this.
Yeah.
We've done some. Yeah, some
stuff.
Yeah, we've done some stuff on this.
So
I mean,
like
there's
the
lots of
evaluation
things.
questions, so to speak, like that kind of stuff.
You know, what are the questions you'd be asking yourself if you're trying to discern a call out of youth ministry? First of all, let me comment on this lifer deal. When I was, before you guys were saying tomorrow's our 27th anniversary.
Oh,
Okay, so
congrats.
thank you. When I asked Kathy's dad if I could marry her,
Jack.
he said, what are you going to do after you're youth pastor? And I said, I don't know. I just plan on being a youth pastor. Well, you're going to do something. I said, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll train youth pastors. But there was really never a lifer language. You know, I think now that there's a bunch of books out and there's degrees and
The lifer.
The
You were like original lifer,
You're like
right?
Abraham Lincoln.
it's just funny to me, like that. You know, when 25-year-olds will meet me and they go, "Man, I'm a lifer." You know, just be faithful in what you're doing, and let's see, because you know, who's to say that God doesn't redirect a path?
Well,
And
got that right.
you know, I don't know. This lifer language just seems like it's come in the last 10 years or so that I've been hearing about it a lot. And
I'm not sure you can.
Why'd
know
you
you're
give
a
me so
lifer
much grief
until
when I
you're
quit?
At the end of your life.
Yeah.
because you're supposed to be a lifer to me.
Oh goodness, I think one of the things that's really telling in a situation like this is just the level of discontent that's in your life, and I think that discontent can come from lots of different places. But I think that when you're walking with God, when your faith, you know, you're doing the things and being the things, you know, that you're doing, you're living it out. Like if you're connected to Jesus, you're connected in community, and you have discontent, that is a real thing to listen to and to pay attention to. I think that obviously if you're living in sin, you know, and that could mean a little bit or a lot of it, whatever, then it's hard. You can't pay attention to how you're feeling because there's something else that's mucking things up. But I think that if you're really walking with God and things are, you're just going, I wonder, what is it? That's the time to start talking and really paying attention. And it sounds like that's what you're doing. I don't think discontent is such a thing where you're supposed to always go, I got to suck it up and just be faithful no matter what. That might be the answer. That might be the end of the process. But it also might be, no, I'm uncomfortable and it's time for me to move on. So that's just a quick thing.
I think the question is, am I done? You know, I mean, especially when it comes to youth ministry, that, you know, when I left the paid position at Saddleback, I wasn't, I mean, probably 10 years, every year I'd say, am I done? Do I still want to do this? And the answer was always yes. It wasn't like, you know, it's part of discovering your gifts even. How do you feel about the gifts that you're expressing? How does the community around you, you know, do you walk into a youth room and you go, oh, kids again? Or when you're speaking, are you just so irrelevant that you're not talking their language? Or, you know, last night I canceled my Bible study and we went out for ice cream. And I was sitting at a booth with the guys and I thought, this is the best time I've had in a month. Just like out with all these guys,
cool.
They're all like circled around, we're laughing, we're telling stories. One guy hasn't been in a bunch of weeks because of basketball, and so I said, hey, why don't you guys tell them one thing you've been learning about Jesus? And just, it was so rich and fun.
That's
and
cool.
Now, but I say all that to say that I feel like I'm still fired up, you know,
Yeah,
about it.
your passion's still
I
there.
still care. I still want to invest in their lives. They were talking about the weekend versus small group and different things that they're just learning and growing. I mean, when they left, I was, other than them burning out down the street and pissing off my neighbors, other than that, I mean, this is great.
Yeah.
You know, this is great. But I think there are times, you know, there were times at Saddleback when I'd be at the whiteboard with an intern and I'm explaining the tables and greeting and why we do it and how to move from artificial community to authentic community, where I thought, I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to lead in this way, that this is my job, that I come here every day. You know, I started doing things like that, like this.
I'll tell another intern why we do what we do.
That's right. Send them to England.
Let them learn there.
But I think there is still that question: is do I, in some ways, do I have game? Do I still like this?
Well, and does
Passion-
it just
the
look
passion
different?
part's important.
Maybe it's you're done in the job sense, but does that mean, you can't be mentoring or
Yeah.
investing in a different way? You might have the associate pastor job, but maybe you're still investing in a few
That'd be
teenagers,
awesome.
and it might just be taking a different shape in your life.
Yeah. And calling you to something different. I think like Josh, you've talked before about, I think it'd be a waste of your talent if you did it at Saddleback, but you've thought before, like, it'd be cool to program the weekend for the church.
Yeah.
And you could, and that might be a stretch in your talent level to lead adults in a different way, and to kind of feed the beast every 7 days for that. You've talked about that. So honestly, in the next 5 years, if you went in that direction, I could see God was kind of birthing that in you.
Yeah.
I don't, as your friend, I think it'd be a step down for you right now, but there are moments I think in the church as you do ministry where you kind of lean into other areas and go, I wonder if I'd like to experiment there. Or, Katie, you left Saddleback to go on staff at Mariners in a different position, and I think, but
I think it was great. Yeah, I think sometimes there's those times where you venture into something new, and it's still ministry, and I still felt called to ministry in the local church. But anytime you move around, things take a new shape, and you're changed and different from that. And that's always a good thing.
It's cool.
So
If you're feeling discontent, if you're feeling, that you don't have passion, so I'm kind of summarizing. The first time around, I think you were talking about, hey, just try something new. Maybe you just add a new challenge.
yeah, I don't think you have to cut teenagers
You don't
out
have
of
to
your
cut
life.
teenagers out. And so if you're not feeling challenged, then that means that there's probably needs to be a change. And I'm forgetting what Griff was talking about.
I haven't said anything yet.
You didn't
to
say
this
it.
one.
No
Which
wonder
is
I
fine.
didn't.
It's fine. I would just say if you're running from something instead of being
Yeah.
called to something, that would be a mistake too. So if you're
That's a good.
because you think the grass is going to be greener.
The grass, is not greener.
It's never greener.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Honestly, it's
well,
almost
my
like a
grass
question.
is a lot greener than your.
Yeah, for sure.
No,
It's a
not
question
true.
that
That's not
almost
true.
can't be answered in a general sense. It's
Sure.
so deeply personal.
Yeah.
And I would also say this: don't apologize for leaving youth ministry. You're not leaving youth ministry. You're following God's call.
Yeah.
But that goes back to that lifer business.
Lesser call.
Yeah, it's okay. Like that's where God wants you to go and
That's not
be and
true.
do. Don't apologize for it.
Yeah.
Celebrate it. That
Well,
God's speaking so clearly.
think about some of the people that have been in youth ministry for a season, in a
Yes.
long season, that then become pastors of churches,
Absolutely.
who now all of a sudden have a better understanding, and their sermons are,
Yes.
Most of them
teenage
forget
friendly.
youth
I don't
ministry.
know if they forget.
Thank
youth
you,
ministry.
Francis
don't.
Chan. Thank you, Perry Noble. Thank you, Rick Warren. They're all youth. They're all youth guys.
Well,
Don't forget.
Not necessarily the best examples, but whatever.
okay, but like, let's say Andy Stanley. Andy
Yes,
Stanley
he
was a
was a
youth
youth
pastor
guy,
for
yes.
20, 25 years, and when you hear him talk, he
He
talks to
shows it.
teenagers.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very, very true. That's a
He's
great.
the master of communication.
Great.
He's great.
All right, let's talk about something refreshing.
He's pretty good.
From Donovan Martin. A friend of ours from another church is looking for a new student ministry because the church her teens attend have other teenagers becoming pregnant and eventually bringing their baby to the youth group. While there are many issues to address, her main point is, quote, once a person chooses to go down the path of getting pregnant and having kids, they lose their status as a youth and should not be in a class for young, and they should be in a class for young parents. In our conversation, she was not asking for my advice on the situation.
Of course not.
Just airing her opinion on the makeup of youth ministry. Sometimes that's my favorite point when I'm reading and McGill just blurts out something. Not always my favorite.
Wait, she
Yeah, I
wasn't
love
looking
it
for
every
your.
time. Wait a minute. She actually can think critically about something?
The church is large enough to start a ministry, and it sounds like there are enough young parents to necessitate the class. Or would a nursery be the answer, or passing out condoms?
Oh dear.
Please tell me that was a joke.
Or let them in your
It's a
youth
joke.
group.
He put a smiley face by that.
Oh, okay, good.
Thank you.
Joke.
It's hard and written and
Yep.
you and
Yeah.
who knows if you added that on.
Hey,
there.
who knows? Who knows what I
Who
do?
knows what you do?
All right, so
All
what's
right,
the
pregnant
answer?
teens.
Pregnant.
It's
teens.
I don't know. I'm gonna say this,
Oh,
and I'm just gonna put it out there. Here it
Yeah,
comes.
what is
Let him
happened to
start.
Griff?
Come on.
Show them some grace and let them be right in the mix.
Absolutely.
Let 'em
Gosh,
be
I thought
right
you
in the
were
mix,
gonna be
man.
crazy on this one again.
I think this is crazy.
Oh, you do?
I think it's
You're right on.
crazy.
You're spot on. They're still teenagers. They're still.
And what a chance to show restoration, love, forgiveness,
Oh gosh, totally.
and cute baby around you. I don't know. It feels awesome.
But I do think that if
Babies
there
are not
is
cute,
a group of them,
but-
it might be worthwhile to start a small group for some of those
That's
girls to
interesting.
Sure.
who are
Yeah.
Just don't. Yeah.
journeying with, a couple maybe or something. I think that would be cool, but I definitely think alienating them from the youth ministry.
A group of them is probably 2 over the course of 10 years, and it's been exaggerated by the lady. It's probably not
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
girl is pregnant in our
That's
whole
true.
church.
But there's also probably somebody in that church, our friend Teresa Loza, who would be fine with me saying this, who's a grandma now, one of the cutest grandmas you've ever seen in your life,
Yes.
who got
Awesome.
pregnant as a teenager, got married, has one of the most stunning marriages, I know.
Absolutely.
But she would be thrilled to lead a group because she's been there.
And
Great
love
example.
on girls.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
they're
that lady's
still-
sitting in judgment of them. They're no longer teens; they're young
No,
adults.
they
Well,
need.
That's
How many pharisaical parents have you seen that, I don't want my kid coming on Wednesday night because there are people who come on Wednesday night and,
An earring.
they cuss or
Or
something
they have
like
like-
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
They
So,
They have an earring.
They have an earring. One earring in the
smoke
left
crack.
ear.
yeah. So anyway, there is that.
They're embarrassed. I just say they're embarrassed enough. They've been humiliated.
Yeah.
Welcome them with open arms.
Mm-hmm.
Said
Be
from
the-
a little bit
be
of
the
experience. We had a
church
girl
you're supposed
last
to be.
year who got pregnant, maybe a little bit on the fringe, but would not come back. And I begged her. I saw her about every other week, and I said, "Come back. We want you with the baby." Not a chance. She's coming back.
let her
Yeah.
check the baby in and come. I'm not this person, but let them check
Right.
the baby in. I mean, if they don't.
Yeah, put the baby in the nursery, and then
Your church has something.
We have a teen mom that is that comes. A teen mom that comes. It's actually pretty cool. Our church has a deal on Wednesday nights. It's friends and sisters. They combine it to Fristers or something. It's a really weird name.
flame.
Yeah, but it's just I can't.
Is that Friends and
Fristers-
Lame?
There you go. Very, very
Hey,
clever.
can you be a Cub Scout master?
I got it out. I'm on it.
No way.
That's
Oh.
funny. So for our friends, we have a kid that rode up on the bike in front of the garage, wants a donation for Olympic Day. Josh, give him a few bucks.
Give him that wreath. Tell him it's a
Let's
wreath.
move on. Frister. Friester.
Like an Olympic wreath
What's
you
a
put on someone's
frister?
head. So they, so our church has a deal that's on Wednesday nights where they actually, it's for young moms, and they specifically target kind of lower income areas, and get buses and rides and stuff like that, and into our church. So it's a really neat thing because it's actually a different demographic of what's going on in our church for the most part, but not all the way. And some of our high school kids do the child care, the babysitting for that. And so one of them, had made friends with a mom and just said, you should come to high school ministry and be a part of this and stuff. And so it's totally great. I mean, she comes most weeks. She, we've had different events. She's been over at her house. My wife's gotten to talk to her, meet the baby,
Love
hold the baby, and it's great. She said it was incredibly hard. And her dad got a bad dad situation, and the father of the baby, bad situation. I mean, it's just a lot of things that break your heart. But even in the best situations, where there is, families with parents are there and everyone's on board, and it's still hard, even when everyone's being supportive. I mean, being a parent is hard.
Well, yeah, the whole situation's rough because here's the kid that, let's say half your kids in your youth group are having sex.
Right.
This is the kid that got pregnant. And so everybody else sits in judgment, it's a rough one. I think you show a lot of grace. I think you figure it out. You take it step by step.
And remove that lady from leadership.
From your church.
Yeah.
Excommunication.
Seriously.
This is from Mark McLean. He says, I'm a Rewind T member. When you guys were going to be gone for a while, I went back and started over at 00 again.
A double rewinder. We've only got a couple
Another
of those.
level.
It was fun to go back and remember some of the great things that happened, the opinions from Doug, affirmation of Doug's answers by Josh, wisdom from Matt, and the addition of Katie. So here's my question. I just moved 2,000 miles west to take a position at a great church in Arizona. The first Sunday that my family and I were there, 2 college girls started a Bible study, and I really wished they had put it off a little bit and talked with me about it, but I was excited that someone was willing to love on students. So I had a meeting with them and explained that we would continue with the girls group until the end of the semester and then evaluate how it was going. They understood that this would fall under my leadership and even apologized for not waiting to start until I had gotten here. Well, at the end of the semester is coming up, and I've gotten feedback from my 14-year-old daughter and my wife. The daughter does not want to attend and states that she isn't learning anything from the group other than hanging out. My wife commented that it was really nicely set up, decorations, etc., but the teaching was subpar and not a good representation of what it could or should be. She's really feeling led to lead a study with this group of girls. How, as the husband, do I evaluate this? My first thought is to have evaluation sheets for each of the girls and the leaders to fill out so I can get a sense of what's going on. Do you have any evaluation tips? Since I'm not in the meetings myself, should I drop in a few weeks in a row to see what's going on? How can I get my wife in teaching without looking like I'm hijacking the group? Please give me some guidance. 2 positives about being in Arizona. I can now come to the Student Leadership Conference in 2012.
Like
Yeah,
Griff.
lucky for him.
Yeah, at Azusa. Since you're close,
I'll be up there for my doctorate anyhow. No big deal.
if you live closer to Pennsylvania, you could go to that one.
Go to Philly, have some cheesesteak.
Let's go.
Really like
Do you
it.
know?
The other is that I have an adult leader guy who let me wax his back and chest for an announcement. Thanks, Josh, for the video I
You
used.
are welcome for that.
P.S. I am prepared for Matt to blast away on how I need to step up and not be a victim of mental weakness.
Oh,
True.
Matt, take it from here.
Yeah. No, it's a hard. I mean, you're in a hard situation because even to just evaluate after a semester, after 4 months, to make a change is a tough thing. Could your wife coach the Bible study?
Which, by the way, was a great leadership statement on his half point
say,
to say,
hey, let's let it
let's
go.
evaluate.
Yeah, and and I think that if you could, maybe you can set it up that on one hand, one idea. Not saying that this should be done, but one idea is maybe your wife can coach these other ladies that are teaching. It's very hard to not move. And help them become better teachers. The other option is that you would speak the truth, speak the opinion, the perspective, and just say, hey, look, it seems like you guys are doing a great job. You're creating community, and that's really cool. But it just feels like we can get more out of the teaching time. And so you don't want to avoid telling them the truth because you're never going to help them become better leaders or better whatever. Another option is maybe your wife teaches, once a month or something, and so that they can kind of see, hey, we just want to change things up, get different voices, and man, my wife would love to invest in the girls, and here's a way that she could do that, and so there you go. I wouldn't. What's that?
Every time I
That's
Okay.
what
Yeah,
mine
just
do.
real
My
quick.
chair squeaks.
Katie's
Oh,
chair,
that's awesome, yeah.
I always think she's farting.
It doesn't
Always.
Yeah, it
He
does.
always looks at me, and I'm like,
Not always. Sometimes I think, Katie.
twice a show.
Yeah, sometimes like, ooh, that did not
I
smell
just
good.
feel like that's a normal thing people do, and I don't even pause to just
Yeah,
wonder
well,
about
it's
it.
not. It's not a normal.
Here's
A
one
lot
thing.
of what you do is not normal human behavior.
Not normal for me, for
That
sure.
doesn't mean it shouldn't be. So the one thing I want to say that is the most important is that when you go to talk to these ladies or whatever, I wouldn't say, "Hey, my daughter thinks it sucks," or I wouldn't even say,
Sure.
"My daughter's not learning a whole lot," or I would just her opinion. It's wonderful that you have heard it. Honestly,
You can't
hopefully, if you've been doing youth ministry long enough, you have had elders in your church or volunteers in your church or whatever that their kid has come to you to tell you their perspective. You just, and I think I remember you saying, like, man, when it's your own kid, it's really hard not to listen to what your own kids are feeling. I mean, I think, and I'm not saying I know, but I think I remember a shift in you, where early on you would say, man, it's really a drag when,
the executive pastors, kids are saying this or that, or the pastor's kids, they don't. How can they form opinions on this? And then as it was your own kids giving you feedback, I think that there was a struggle there, and maybe there wasn't. Maybe you ignored all your kids' opinions.
No, I didn't ignore it, but I just know,
I just can't act on it.
Tori came home the other night. She's on your staff, 23 years old. We talk youth ministry now. It's very fun. But one of the things that we're saying, I said to her is, babe, if you haven't learned it already, there's two sides to every story. You just have to know that when you're hearing one side, even if it's passionate, even if it's convicting, there's always another side, and you have to give that in equal
There's
validation.
Two sides to every story.
So
and both sides are my side.
So when my kids over the years have come home and made a comment about a small group leader or a trip or something like that I wasn't a part of, or teaching or the weekend, I always hear it. Oh, it's interesting or whatever. But partly because my kids have grown up in youth ministry, very rarely are they negative. There have been times, but
they have a really solid leader too. I mean,
Their
pastor.
high school
Yeah,
pastor
their high
is
school
really
pastor.
unbelievable.
It's pretty. I mean, I can see why you wouldn't.
the
have a lot of
hardest
issues.
working one that
the hardest working man
Here's
in youth
what I would
ministry.
say. Small groups lean one way or the other. In my experience, they lean fellowship or they lean discipleship. So either you have a great teacher and it's all Bible, 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 or they lean relationship and community and whatever. And I think both are probably the right answer. And so I would explain to them, this group leans fellowship, and that's great. We need it to lean discipleship as well, and show them how they're not in balance together. And I think you could speak the truth, show them an opportunity, because they're doing a lot of things right. So I'd say affirm.
They got decorations.
Yeah, honestly, that's legit. They're thinking about it ahead of time.
Decorations are not legit.
No,
Well,
they care about their
atmosphere.
group enough to plan ahead.
I will never think decorations are legit. But
Incorrect.
I mean, I'm overstating it a tiny bit. But I would say this, is it's not a bad idea to ask them how they think it's going.
Sure.
And they might actually say, I love everything, I just don't like the teaching part, or
Well, and
teaching's harder than I thought, or,
But I think
they
dream
can give you
like,
an in.
bring them into even a dreaming process with you of like, okay, here's what it is right now. What do you guys think it could be? I mean,
That's
let's
good.
dream
Could we
about
take
this
it to the
together,
group?
and
That's
Yeah.
good.
here's
this could look like
Yeah.
Without video curriculum.
No, I think
Let's do Numa.
No, that's good.
Oh, that's strong.
That's really good.
helping them bring, because I think a lot of younger youth leaders don't think through the purpose part, or like, why am I doing this, or what's our end goal. So helping them even create a little bit of a, hey, here's where we're hoping to take these girls, and gosh, there's a couple other leaders that could come alongside of you guys to really see this thing go, and could be a cool way to empower them and then also get the results you want.
And this whole situation is transferable to small groups,
Totally.
Sunday
Yeah,
school
absolutely.
classrooms, the whole bit, where a
Anything.
leader has to kind of get in there and evaluate
Sure.
and hear multiple sides of the story. But I think it's fair for you to go in, even though it's a girls group, go in because you want to listen to the teaching. Just say, I want to listen to you teach.
If it falls under your, if you're
Absolutely.
charged with the responsibility of this group, you should be dropping.
But single them out.
Don't
Only
throw
go to
out-
their group.
don't
Don't
throw
go to
out-
any of the other groups at all. Just go to the treble
Well, it
ones.
sounds like that might be very true.
Hey, well, here's what we're going to do, Mark. We're going to send you the APU academic pack.
Love it.
Because
Whoa.
nothing says academic pack like
An
PDYM, your first 2 years, and what matters
And
most.
an honorary doctorate.
And an honorary doctorate. Okay, let's be serious about this. Do you want to get a master's?
Absolutely.
Okay,
I've
a
been.
master's in youth and family leadership.
Yes.
Okay.
I
Youth and
honestly
family
would.
leadership.
Huh?
Wow.
What about you?
Yeah.
In a
I would
heartbeat.
love it.
In a heartbeat.
Okay.
Been
Matt?
wanting to for a long time.
Yeah, I do. I thought.
What if I got-
was the
what if
actual-
I got
What's
you-
the actual degree?
It's
Youth
a
and
master's
family
in.
leadership.
Yeah.
Okay.
How
Yeah.
awesome is
I
that?
thought it was more of a leadership, like a church leadership, broader.
You could probably spin it off into that.
Yeah.
For
Do
money.
you want to be more?
Well,
You're not a lifer.
there's going to be a cost. Don't think this thing's going to be free. I'm just going to get it discounted.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I know how much it costs. It's expensive.
It's
I would-
very
But it's I understand it's worth it.
But it'd be fun
But-
to kind of do it
You don't
together
believe it. You
collectively.
understand in your head.
Would
but
you be
don't
one of our
believe it.
professors?
I teach the foundations class, so you guys could be my TAs.
I've
Do you
already,
ever-
I've already done that.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to grade you the hardest.
I was gonna say, do nice the professor. Keep on the good graces with this guy.
Can I get an experiential grade, like for what the
Well,
work I'm
let me
already
just
doing?
tell you. Okay, we could do this off air, but if you got a degree,
Yeah.
like at a Christian university, which you guys did,
Yeah.
2 of your theology classes are done. You can do several of your theology
They take the
classes
classes out.
They can do several of your theology classes
Good.
online, so you can do
Right.
half of it online,
Wow.
and then a lot of the practical youth ministry classes are done
there.
up.
If
at
we
NIP.
carpooled to get a master's degree together, it would be a party. It would be so much fun.
Anyway, we
We
can
should
talk
get
about
a
it later.
bus and just take a bunch of people. From
So
the
is it
county.
is it feasible for people to fly in for the week
Yeah,
and then bail for the
Yeah.
rest of the year or whatever, come
Yeah.
in?
yeah.
Is it like what is it? 1 week a semester? 1 week a
It just
tri
depends.
quarter?
Like in June, they're going to do a week class and then follow up with a week class. So if somebody wanted to come out
Wow.
for 2 weeks,
Knock
they
them out
could
right there,
knock
probably.
out 2 classes.
Now, do we get downgraded for disagreeing with the professors?
Well,
considering your-
considering your seminary track, yes, you will.
And he's your professor? I love it.
Anyway,
Just
I
as long as
think
it's
it would
all
be fun.
I'm down.
Open dialogue.
Here's the whole thing is for the podcast. I'm trying to get you guys more educated so we can raise the level of the podcast.
Can I go back
It's
two
not possible to
emails
raise the
ago?
level of this podcast.
Can I know I don't want to do this, but I just had a.
Okay.
I just had a. I
All
don't
right.
know. I know we don't do this.
No, go ahead.
Pregnant
Yeah.
girl
Look
situation
at
in
you.
youth
Very
ministry.
passionate about
Talk to
this.
the mother about her. She pulls her daughter out of that ministry because
Yeah.
they have pregnant girls. What if when you sat down to her? I know this is going way back, but what if you said, "Let's say your daughter's pregnant. How would you want her to be treated?"
That's good.
Because I think that would help her.
She'd say, "Yeah, no, she should be pulled out. Don't do that."
Yeah,
No,
disagree with the
because-
professor
no.
all you want, buddy.
No, because I'm saying that lady. I'm just
Well,
telling
you could start there.
You could, but that lady's so legalist.
Because that would work for me
She's
if
so
someone said, "Hey,
convinced.
your daughter is pregnant."
What do you think? But
And I would
you
be
would
like,
never
"Oh,
say
gosh,
pull
yeah."
them out. You wouldn't start with the pull.
No,
them
of
out.
course not.
No,
But
it's not even your bet.
Yeah,
She-
I'm saying.
she would probably relocate.
Men
her
are from
daughter.
Mars.
okay,
Women
didn't mean
are
to
from
reopen the
Venus,
window. I just was
and
thinking that would
Okay.
work.
And
for
while
me.
you guys were babbling, let me just tell you what I was doing. I was thinking I'm 19. We're 19 shows away from 200.
Hawaii.
So
Are
here's
we
what
going
I'm
to Hawaii?
thinking.
road trip ends
I'm
in Hawaii.
thinking-
Yes.
Yep.
April,
19,
May,
that's
June,
19
July,
weeks.
August, September. That's 6 months. We do 3 shows a month. That's 18. That puts us to 199.
Whoa.
That means in October we do show 200 at YS.
Let's do it.
And I'm thinking we do something like
Ridiculous.
Magical.
magical. Well, and with Mark Matlock,
With
he could
decorations?
do. Maybe he could open in magic.
Decorations.
He could do
That
magic.
was so funny.
You gotta. Decorations are so ridiculous.
That's a good
Okay, so let's go to that. 200 at the
200
National Youth Workers Convention.
yeah.
Matlock opens with a magic show, and we come in to be the main act.
Oh, legitimate magic.
Yeah.
There's
He's a
decorations.
legit
There's. Oh, I love
We
it.
like to call
Love it.
those illusions.
That means that we can't forget the show, guys. Let me just stress that.
All
Don't
right.
forget this.
Glad
time.
you were here.
I'm
Glad
sorry.
you were here. All right, everybody.
Stop
The show where
apologizing.
Josh is
Send
right.
questions to Youth Ministry Garage. I need more questions.
I agree.
You're
Because he
right.
has hundreds, but
In-
those are
in-
not going to be.
I don't want to reread
Keep
these.
them
I want
short
the
and
new ones.
pithy. Short and pithy.
Adios.
And engage with our online community
Yeah.
at
Did you talk about
youthministrygarage.com.
360 at all today?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
We did?
D Now Online.
Oh, that's
Online.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. We love
Every-
Leadertrix.
Leadertrix has that thing in April that we're all like.
Remedy Live is the only one who didn't get much
Oh, yeah.
love, but everybody knows we love Seth.
Yeah, if you're
Remedy
watching
Live.
this, it's because of Remedy Live. If you're not, it's Matt's fault.
Yeah. All right. Got it.
Yeah.
We're out.
Man.
Yeah.
We're not out till I say we're out. Here we go.
We're
You laugh at that every week, and it doesn't make sense that you laugh at the same thing.
All right.